All right, ladies and gents, let me plug the joint. You're experiencing sex on her terms. That's the problem. So this drop was spurned by a consultation I recently did. So the gentleman, he knows I'm doing this drop and he knows I'm going to be talking about a story that he told me. Now, what I'm also going to do is tell you guys a story about a situation that occurred with me some time back. Now, some of you who've been watching for a while, you may recall this story, right? You may recall it, right? But it bears repeating. And what I want you guys to do when you hear what I'm about to tell you that the young man told me with his situation with a young lady he just met, when I tell you that scenario, and then when I tell you the story involving me, I want you guys to compare and I want you to contrast it. And I want you to compare and contrast the two scenarios for a few reasons. One of the reasons is when we look at the title. Okay, you're experiencing sex on her terms. That's the problem. I want you guys to see the difference between a man who experiences sex on his terms versus a man who doesn't know how to experience sex on his terms. Right? Right. For your viewing pleasure, right here, setting the tone. You are the source of the experience. Going with the flow, you are hoping to be included in hers. To be included in what? To be included in her experiences, which is why guys ask women, what do you like to do? What do you want to do? Where do you like to go? Right? Because they feel like if I do something that she thinks is fun experiencing, I will be included in her fun experience and I'll have fun. That's how males with no game think. Kind of like PUAs, right? Red passport bros, red pill, all of them motherfuckers, right? See, when you are a man about your shit, you're very purposeful and you live your life with intention, right? You want certain things out of life and you go get it. That's what men do. You want certain things out of life and you go get it. Not only do you want certain things out of life, but you want to experience these things in a specified way, right? Even when it comes to sex. See, a lot of you just cool with having sex. Not me. I want to experience enjoying sex and a woman enjoying me while I'm enjoying her in a very specified way. Why do you think I told you guys about the pool joint? I was already going to smash Shorty. I wanted to do that. Why do you think I told you guys about, meeting chicks and having sex in public places, mall bathroom? I wanted to experience that. Setting up a first date at a movie theater and doing some sexual activities in a movie theater. Those are my experiences. I want to experience that. I set the tone for my sex life. I set the tone for my sexual experiences. I'm the source of that experience. I set the tone for what I want to do. And the women that want to partake, they partake. It's that simple. I don't ask women what they want to do. I tell women what I'm going to be doing and how they're going to be doing it with me if they're going to be spending time with me. It's really that simple. I don't ask, I tell them. I need you guys to understand that. You're experiencing sex on her terms. That's the problem. So this young man, he met this lady. They met face to face. He tells her he's interested in her and him getting together at a later date. But he never specifies exactly where or what he wants to do. So in the midst of talking to her, he tells her, I want to get together at a later date. Why don't you take my number and give me a call sometime? So in the midst of this happening, she abruptly says this to him. I'm not looking for a relationship. This is what she says to him, right? Now, before we continue, right? There's two words I want you guys to remember while I'm talking about this particular story. The word barter, as in barter for sex or bartering, right? And negotiate, as in negotiating sex. So when you don't have any game, gentlemen, and when you don't know how to have sex on your terms, gentlemen, what you're going to do inevitably is you're going to barter and negotiate sex with women. That could include dates, um, phone calls, texting, non-sexual shit, buying shit. It could include a number of things. But either way, you're bartering and you're negotiating sex. See, the only time you end up in a predicament where you're negotiating or bartering sex with a woman is when a woman is not sexually attracted to you. Right? That's what happens when women are not sexually attracted to you. So if you find yourself in a back and forth with the woman and it feels like you're negotiating, she doesn't want your dick. And what's amazing to me is this gentleman, I've done multiple consultations with him. I mean, I believe he watches my videos. I know he watches the live streams, but I have to wonder, my brother, are you getting anything from this shit? Because the fucking up you guys do, although you get consultations, the shit needs to be studied. It needs to be studied how guys get all of this top-notch information. And I'm talking about the free videos, right? You getting top-notch information and free videos and live streams. Then you get one-on-one coaching and you still break all the rules. You break all of the rules. You're experiencing sex on her terms. On her terms. That's the problem. So she abruptly tells him, I'm not looking for a relationship. Now, as O'Shea Duke Jackson would say, stop the show. Stop the show. See, some guys, they would take that as a green light to something casual. Oh, well, she's interested in taking your number and she says she don't want a relationship. Not so fast. See, we're talking about awareness here. We're talking about discernment. We're talking about having game here, right? So when you have game, there are certain things that scream manipulation. Oh yeah. Her saying, I'm not looking for a relationship. Oh yeah, she started out manipulating right away. That's manipulation. Okay. Let me explain what I mean. See, again, some of y'all might think she was trying to imply that she was potentially looking for something casual. No. Right? So when you're talking to a woman, and this is assuming a woman is sexually attracted to you, and you're talking about getting together, there is no reason for her to abruptly tell you she's not looking for a relationship unless you imply something that makes her think you're looking for one. But for her to say that unsolicited, she just comes out and abruptly says that. Anytime a woman says what she's not looking for while not saying what she is looking for, that's done by design. That's a preemptive strike. That's what that is. Right? There's a reason why she did that. And he didn't catch it. It's gonna come up later, and he still didn't catch it. It comes up again later, and it comes up 3 times actually, but she adds a twist to it the third time she brings it up, and he still didn't catch it, right? So she tells him abruptly, I'm not looking for a relationship. And then he says, neither am I. Now, stop right there. The problem with him saying, I'm not looking for a relationship is he should have followed that up with what he is looking for. He should have followed that up with what he's really trying to do. That's not what he did, though. He just says, I'm not looking for a relationship, and he left it there. Right? So she takes the number, And then she texts him. And then she asks him, what are you trying to do? So then he invites her to the crib again. Now, stop right there. Guys, a woman should not have to ask you, what are your plans? What do you want to do? The fact that he met her face to face, he never set the plan. He just said, I want to see you at a later date. He never told her. So now she's calling or texting and she's asking, what do you want to do? And then he says, I want you to come to my crib. Now, how come he didn't tell her that when they first met? See, he could have saved a lot of time and he could have got to the point of how much she was on some bullshit a lot sooner. But guys, let me tell y'all this, and this is for all you guys. Anytime you're indirect, passive, or indecisive, you're always going to experience sex on a woman's terms. Always. Always. The only time you're going to experience sex on your terms is when you come out the gate setting the tone. And you stay consistent with setting the tone. You don't let up. You keep your foot on the gas with setting the tone. So many of you, sad to say, you've never had sex on your terms, really, especially not an ongoing situation. But we're going to break this down. So he tells her he tells her he wants her to come to the crib. So she says again, I'm not looking for a relationship. That's the second time she said that. Now, guys, I want you to think about this. He's asking this strange woman for her number, telling her, I want to see you at a later date. He never specifies why. She abruptly says, I'm not looking for a relationship. She has an agenda. She has an ulterior motive, right? He's not catching on because he's so focused on trying to get his dick wet, he's not seeing what he needs to see, right? So he invites her to the crib. She says it again. I'm not looking for a relationship. So then he says something about coming to the crib so we can spend some intimate time together. And that's the word he used, intimate. He didn't say sex. He didn't say fuck. He didn't say anything about sex. He said intimate. Guys, I keep telling you motherfuckers, intimate does not mean sex. Just because it means sex to you doesn't mean it means sex to the woman. Let me say this real quick. And shout out to Steve, because that's where guys get that shit from, right? Y'all keep stealing shit from guys. You keep stealing shit. And here's the funny thing. This guy is not the only guy I've done a consultation with where they've used the word intimate to try and describe what they want to do, right? And that's their way of indirectly trying to bring up sex without being direct. And the funny thing is, every consultation I've had where guys use the word intimate, the woman always asks the same thing. What do you mean by that? Can you explain what you mean? So, guys, stop being pussies. Stop trying to hint at sex. A lot of you guys are trying to hint at it. And I told you guys before, when you try to hint at sex, women know what you're doing. And even if women ask you can you spell it out for me? Can you break down what you mean? Oftentimes, they kind of know what you mean. They just want to be clear. Not because they want to have sex. They just want you to stop bullshitting and stop speaking in fucking riddles. Like the guy that I'm talking about, the guy I did a consultation with. I'm going to call you the Riddler. A lot of you guys do speak in riddles instead of just being straight up with what the fuck you want. Stop trying to hint at sex and just tell women what the fuck you want. So let me get back to my point. So, again, now, twice, she told him, I'm not looking for a relationship. So now he's telling her to come to the crib. So now when she asked him, can you expound upon what you mean? So he sends her a voice note or a voice text where he's getting more sexual now. And see, and what's disturbing about this is he could have got sexual when he first met her face to face. But he's only getting sexual because she's telling him, tell me what you mean. So y'all see all of this back and forth, and she has to drag it out of him. He's not initiating or setting the tone for sex talk. She's dragging it out of him. And now he's taking cues from her because she's asking him, can you explain what you mean? So now he's explaining what he means sexually because he didn't have the balls to be direct about it at first. Now, this is what she does. She says, oh, I don't just have sex like that. I got to be in a relationship first. Stop right there. What did she say 2 times to him previously? I'm not looking for a relationship. Bear in mind, she never said what she wanted. She only said what she didn't want. So now that he's being a little more explicit about what he really wants to do, and he's being honest, right? After she basically drug it out of him, now he's being honest about sex. Now she says to him, oh, I got to be in a relationship for that. Bear in mind, she said, I'm not looking for a relationship. So if she's not looking for a relationship, you bring up sex, and she says, I got to be in a relationship first. What does that mean? See, he's so game goofy, he thinks, oh, she's just being resistant. She's just playing hard to get. I'm like, bro, she don't want to fuck you. Guys, remember I told you the word barter and negotiate. Now, let's talk about that. So, when she said, I got to be in a relationship, he was like, no, I'm not trying to do all that. We can just do this. So then she says to him, well, how about you take me to dinner? I don't want to just come to your house. You see what she's doing? She's negotiating with him. See, what she's doing right now, she's already she's already extracting non-sexual time and energy away from him. Attention, time, energy, all of that. But what she's doing is she's trying to get more. Okay, hold on real quick. Let me see if I can find it so I can help y'all out. I don't think guys understand this shit. Hold on real quick. Let's see if I got this shit. Right here. Right here. The more compensation a woman requires, the higher the form of investment sex will be. When women start bartering and negotiating with you, what they're telling you is, I really don't want to fuck you, right? In most cases, that's what they're telling you. And at the bare minimum, what they're telling you is, I don't want to have sex with you on your terms. You're going to have to do what I want, and maybe you'll get it, right? So she basically said, take me to dinner. He said, no, you can just come to the crib. So then she does this. She says, okay, do you drink wine? He says, yes. Then she says, buy me some wine. And he says, yes. Look at the title. You're experiencing sex on her terms. That's the problem. Now she is the one setting the tone. She is the one setting the tone. She is now the source of his experience when you should be the source of the woman's experience. You see how that works? See, he thinks he's leading, but he's not, right? And it all started off with him doing what? Being passive. So now this woman is supposed to come to his crib and he's supposed to have a bottle of wine. She already told him, I got to be in a relationship to fuck you. See, in his mind, he thinks, well, she's coming to the crib, so she's just pretending she's that way. And I'm like, bro, she don't want to fuck you. Right now, let me just say this real quick. When he left a voice note for her being sexually explicit about the things he wanted to do, now bear in mind, he left a voice note or a voice text. He texted him back, okay. That was her response. Guys, If you send a woman a text or a voice note and it's sexually explicit and she's attracted to you sexually, she's going to respond. She's going to engage you in sex talk. Women who want your dick engage you in sex talk. When you send something sexual, they don't ignore it with an okay. And the sad thing is, I made multiple videos telling you guys that I've had other clients who've experienced that, where they try to set up sex, the woman says, okay, or the woman gives a one-word response, and nothing ever happens. But for whatever reason, guys don't want to fucking listen, right? So that story is to be continued. Now, let me tell you this story, and I'm going to show you how a motherfucker with some game to him prepares for sex. See, your life has to be set up for sex. Your life has to be one big bedroom for a bitch. Your whole life has to be one big bedroom. Everything you do and or say has to embody sex. It has to. Setting the tone, you are the source of the experience. So let me show you what that looked like. So, years ago, right, I was dealing with this young lady. Now, let me provide some context so you guys can understand. This particular evening that she came to my house was the first time we met face to face. We never met face to face before this day. How we came to know about each other was the mother of my oldest two children, right? I was at her house. I was dropping off my kids, right? Now, at the time, she was in a relationship with this guy. They were living together, right? So I'm dropping off, my babies, you know what I'm saying, back to her and shit. And while I'm in the crib, I see a picture of this girl. And I'm like, yo, who that? And then, my ex, she's like, oh, she's our friend. She's more of his friend, but she's like a friend of the family. And I'm like, give her my number. Tell her to hit me up. I want her. Like, this is what I'm telling my ex. Give her my number. I want her. And this is what she tells me. She's seen you before. And I'm like, oh, she saw me before? Yeah, sometime back, you was dropping off the kids and she was here. She was inside the house. You were outside. You never came inside, but she was inside. She saw you. Yeah, she's attracted to you. I'm like, oh, she is. I'm like, oh, yeah, give her that number. Right? So, yeah, some of y'all thinking, wait a minute. Baby moms is hooking it up? I'm that nigga, guys. Guys. Number one, for me to even tell the mother of my oldest two children, a woman I was in a relationship with for 7 years, for me to even tell her, I want to fuck your friend, hook that up. For me to even tell her that, do y'all know that you got to be him? You got to be that motherfucker to even take it there, right? Right? So she hooked it up. So Shorty called me and I hooked it up, right? So the first night we met, this is the first night. So she comes into the crib, right? Let me stop right there. My life is set up for casual sex encounters. So as soon as she steps into the crib, right, and back then I had a 2-story crib, right? So upstairs in a little game room, right, I had music playing, and I had the ambiance, the lights. The lighting was magnificent, right? Right? On some red light, green light, blue light, purple light shit. It was the ambiance was set, the music was set. So she walked into the crib. Sex is already happening and she's still fully clothed. Right? So let me show y'all how it goes when you set up your life for sex, because sex is imminent and sex can happen at any time, right? Sex can happen at any time, right? So she comes into the crib. I immediately send her to the kitchen. I sent her to the kitchen. Now, back then, I was drinking, Cape Cods, cranberry juice, vodka, and all that. So I sent her to the kitchen to make us a drink, a Cape Cod, right? I said, hey, why don't you make us a drink right quick? So I showed her to the kitchen, showed her where everything was at. And what do you think she did? Right? She made us some drinks. We go upstairs. Remember, the music is already playing, the lights. So I sit on the couch. As soon as I sit on the couch, she promptly sits on my lap. Mind you, this is our first time meeting face to face. Now, there's a little more to the story, you know what I'm saying? But I'm trying to, in the interest of time, I'm trying to finish this shit up, right? But my point is, this is our first time meeting face to face. So she sit on my lap. Shortly thereafter, she gets up and starts dancing, right? Remember, the music is playing, but she starts dancing almost in a striptease kind of way, right? In fact, she starts grinding on my motherfucking leg, right? Like I'm sitting on I'm laying back with the drink in my hand, and she starts grinding on my leg, and then she backs up and she's dancing in a very striptease kind of way. So I tell her this: take that shit off. That's exactly what I said. Take that shit off. Talking about her clothes. And she says, you want me to strip for you? And I said, slowly. She starts stripping. Boom. One thing led to another. She's butt naked. I'm still clothed. All my clothes are still on. I haven't taken nothing off yet. She's butt naked. Pick her up, take her downstairs to the master bedroom, throw her on the king's bed, right? I didn't say king size bed. I said the king's bed, right? And we get busy. Y'all see how smooth that shit went? She came into the crib, instructed her to make us some drinks. We adjourn upstairs. I sit back, laying on the couch to a drink she made for your boy, enjoying her strip for me. All of this is the first night we met. You're experiencing sex on her terms. That's the problem. Setting the tone. You are the source of the experience. I'm the source for all my sexual experiences. All my sexual experiences happen like I want them to happen. I have a certain way I want it to happen, and I instruct women so that things go exactly how I want it to go. I'm not asking a woman what she wants or how she wants things done. I'm setting the tone. Y'all get it? Y'all got that shit? Like, share, and subscribe. I'm out.